PacificBeerChat.com. On June 24th, Chelsea of Brutiful, British Columbia, and I, Mike of Mike's Craft Beer, headed out to Nelson in the Kootenays of British Columbia to check out the grand opening of the brand new location of Torchlight Brewing. They were formerly a nano brewery, and they have now moved into a brand new production facility. We hope you enjoyed this interview, and there'll be more to come in the near future. All right, we're at Torchlight Brewing in Nelson. It's their grand opening of the brand new location here. Why don't you guys introduce yourself?
I'm Craig. I'm the brewmaster.
And I'm Josh, the logistics director, one of the other owners.
What got you into craft beer? Why did you open up a brewery?
Well, what got us into craft beer was, for me, I was living in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and there was a little tiny brewery that opened up around the corner from my house. And I started stopping in there every day after work and grabbing a 1 liter growler, so got pretty interested in the idea. And then Craig, who was living in BC, drove his motorcycle from BC to Nova Scotia to visit me.
Holy crap.
Yeah. He had quite the adventure, and then we started going to the brewery every day, and then we got to talking to the owner and kind of spiraled out of control from there, and we were drinking on the patio and said, how hard could it be?
Yeah, we were saying, why doesn't someone do this in Nelson? Growlers, small craft brewery,
Yeah.
tasting room style. And then we thought, because of course we had a few more beers,
Yeah.
why don't we do it?
Yeah.
We've both been homebrewing for a while and made good beer already.
Yeah,
And that's when we decided, shit, let's do it. Why not?
So yeah, I moved home back to Nelson, and we opened up our original location, which was extra tiny. We called it the Broom Closet Brewery. And now we finally expanded into a proper sized
No, for sure. I guess starting with the original location that opened, was it June 2014?
Yeah, June 24th, 2014.
Where was it located, and story with that building? Why did you choose it, or is there kind of a story behind that at all?
Well,
It was at 511 Front Street in Nelson, just off downtown. At the time, we were just looking for any space we could afford that would house a brewery at all. I mean, basically it was, like a storefront with a couple offices, essentially.
Yeah.
And we built a little brewery space in the back using an old converted soup kettle. We called it Millennium Falcon because it was built in the 70s and it had an access panel falling off and weird jury wiring.
but it brewed beer real well.
Yeah, it did, yes.
You just had to tinkle it sometimes.
What was the capacity on that system?
It was a 4 hectoliter system, so just 400 liters a batch, which, when you move up from home brewing, that feels huge. But
Yeah.
at the commercial scale, it's tiny. Our first
yes.
batch of beer we sold out by Wednesday. We launched our beer at a pub on the Saturday. We opened on Tuesday. Wednesday night we were closed because we were out of beer.
Okay, so you had the same problem as like Powell Street when they first opened up. Yeah.
And we ran out twice more that first summer. August Long Weekend destroyed us that summer. And
Yeah.
ran out of beer, had to catch up again.
Yeah,
Brutal.
we managed the next year and the year after to catch up and to plan ahead so we could keep enough beer. And we even started doing a little bit of distribution, just kind of in some key markets, more for fun and real bragging rights, I think, more than anything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Well, I guess on top of that, like you had different fermenters than most people too. The whole system was a little different.
Yeah, so they
Can
were
you talk about that a little bit?
modified plastic biodiesel fermenters. This is the only thing that nobody makes stainless steel fermenters that small.
Yeah.
Well, for a
Basically.
reasonable price, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
unless you want them completely custom built.
Yeah, and so it was a tenth of the cost to get a plastic one.
Yeah,
Which
for
made
sure.
it so we could do it. Single wall, plastic obviously, wouldn't hold pressure and non-temperature control. So we had to keep one room in the building air conditioned or heated in gear to keep it the right temperature for fermentation.
Yeah.
Which meant we had one fermentation temperature, that was it. No
Yeah.
control at all.
We only made classic ales.
When we did a saison, we wanted to ferment at a warmer temperature, so we had to wait until the temperature in the brewery, because it was hot outside, was
Yeah.
high enough to get the temperature.
So we moved
Correct.
the fermenter into the actual brew space and then let it ferment out there. So
Oh,
it was-
geez.
Oh, that's the other thing with the tanks. Because they were small and plastic, they were quite light. So we actually built on the stands pallet jackable
Phrasing.
stand, so we could just pick them up with a pallet jack and drag them around, full or empty.
Yeah.
So instead of hosing or piping going everywhere, we just had mobile tanks.
Yeah, I love that when I saw that originally. It was just like, what are these guys doing?
Nobody knows.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, of course, the beer, because they're not pressure tanks, we can't carbonate in them. So we keg the beer flat, and then we carbonate the kegs, which we were planning just to hook the kegs up with CO2, let them sit for a few days, and they'd naturally carbonate just with the pressure. Well, we never had time for that. So throughout all the 2 and almost 3 years of the original location, every keg had to be shook
By hand.
by hand
By
to get it
person.
carbonated.
Every single one.
Yeah.
It would take a couple
We had,
hours.
we had the same 2x4 that we rocked them back and forth on from the day we opened to the day we closed.
It started as a square 2x4, and
And
by
then
the
it was
time
like
it
a
was
semicircle. We rounded the corners off it.
That's awesome. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone else doing that. I'm sure it's been done.
Probably.
Did
it's
you
a
keep
homebrew
it?
thing.
It's a homebrew thing.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Did you keep the 2x4?
No, somebody accidentally threw it out the day we moved here.
Oh no.
Oh.
Because they didn't know what it was. They're like, look at this ratty old 2x4 turf.
Otherwise, I would have framed it and put it on the wall.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
It's part of the legend now.
Yeah, exactly. You just need to go buy another 2x4,
Round it.
Round it
Just
off.
Pay somebody
Yeah.
around it.
just beat it up, and it's, this is the original one.
Yeah, we promise.
Hang it a long ways up on the wall too, so people can't tell.
Yeah, they can't
Yeah.
expect it.
Yeah.
It needs some beer stains and some like
Yeah.
scuff
Yeah.
marks, though.
Well, I guess you guys were the first tasting room in Nelson, then, weren't you?
Yep.
Was there any pushback from the town at all back? Because there was.
Quite the opposite, actually. People were so curious because they hadn't seen anything like that to come in and check it out.
Yeah.
And we had a great response from. I mean, the only other brewery at the time was Nelson Brewing, and they've been here forever. But they're very much a distribution brewery. So, and we had their staff down drinking our beer, and they were stoked. So, and we had a really good response from people.
You could tell that some people were hoping for a conflict story. Right?
Yeah.
If the breweries fighting against the other, we're taking on the big guys.
Yeah.
Of NBC, who was just another craft brewery, right?
Fairly big,
And-
but yeah.
A fairly big craft brewery, but one that I drink their beer.
Oh yeah.
I drink their beer all the
Make
time,
great beer, yeah.
Yeah.
right? And it's totally the opposite. That's not at all. It's been a very friendly relationship.
It's still all of us against the mega macro brewers too. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, people really didn't understand. Like, and now there's 4 of us in town. So
Yeah, that's
You
really
guys-
exciting.
How do you feel about that? About the other breweries
I love
opening?
it.
Is it the same kind of atmosphere?
yeah,
as it
and
was
I
before?
mean we've already other breweries have borrowed stuff from us. We borrowed stuff from them to get things to work.
Mm-hmm.
And the best part is it makes Nelson as a whole a beer destination,
Mm-hmm.
which you can't have with one brewery in a town. That doesn't make it a beer destination. That
Yeah.
makes it
Well, for some of us geeks it is, but yeah.
for the hardcores maybe. But
I was here when you originally opened, so.
Yeah. But yeah, now with 4 breweries, it's like you can actually make a trip out of it, right? You
Yeah.
can spend a whole night in Nelson, visit 4 breweries, grab some, like, we have a million restaurants in this town, so.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's an eatable town for sure.
Yeah.
What about the Kootenays in general? Like, how has the beer scene kind of evolved here locally? Because you guys were open before. A lot of these other guys jumped on board, right?
Yeah, so with the West Kootenays, I mean, it's been slow, but we're finally starting. And things like the BC Ale Trail really helped.
Yeah, for
Shine a
sure.
light on it, yeah.
We're loving that. I guess, how does Torchlight stand out from other breweries in this area or just in BC in general? I mean, I know this location's new,
Yeah.
so things are changing, but
Yeah,
Just
we're
in
still
general.
getting our feet under us with the new location,
Yeah,
the
for
brewing
sure.
system. So we're putting out, some of our standard beers. But what's always set us apart is the number of beers we produce and just the innovation and the different types of beer we make.
The willingness to just leap into something that people would call us crazy for, like
Yeah.
the big one is our lavender hibiscus kettle sour. We just made it on the fly, just dived right in, and it's a huge hit. And
Yeah,
still haven't tried that one, but
it's
it will
forward
be
to
in
it.
bottles in your area soon.
Yeah.
I'm bringing it next week.
Nice.
Yeah, it's called
There's
Noctis.
some
and
chatter
it's-
out there about that. So
Yes, it's been a major community hit.
I was hoping to make it earlier, but until recently I hadn't figured out how to make it on the new system yet.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a few odd
That's
brewing
one of the
techniques.
bigger learning curves. Is the
Oh, it always is. Yeah, the scale up is not easy.
It's different, and there's just different sets of equipment. And with that beer, when we made it, one thing we wanted to do is we tried to come up with a beer that didn't fit into a style,
Yeah,
and so it's a little unusual.
that's for sure. Yeah,
It's fun.
That's what makes craft brewing fun, right? Why make the same thing over and over
again.
and over again?
There's over 1 million things you can put into a beer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's more variables in beer than almost any other beverage because you can change the different kinds of ingredients, the yeast, the temperatures, so much.
yeah.
Flexibility.
So many types of grains, hops.
adjuncts
It's-
other than just the crappy corn and rice and all that.
Yeah. It's
It's
just
yeah,
like
good
million
adjuncts.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Well, even
different flavor.
fun styles like medieval ales, like grits.
Yeah.
You put herbs like mugwort, yarrow, like
Yeah.
all these
All
kind
kinds
of
of
weird
weird
things.
shit.
Yeah. I love it.
I'm looking forward to making a big batch of that and setting it up.
Yeah. It's gonna
Because
be
we've
quite
made,
the
we've made a
adventure.
brew in a few years. A couple years, once a year.
Yeah.
And not everybody's had it, not too many people had a chance to try it yet. It's pretty wacky.
And every time I've had that brew, it tastes different.
Completely different.
Completely
That's
different.
the whole point of it. I love it.
Yeah. And
It's because it depends on when you get it,
Yeah.
what stage. Because a friend of ours bought a case, and so he tries a bottle every month, and he's tracking it. He's actually writing down notes and everything about how it tastes, and he says it goes through a cycle of 2 months at a time where it's like it'll dip into like really weird, not very pleasant flavor sometimes, and then it'll spike way up. And he's like, "It's amazing. I wish I could drink it all the time." So it's like it's got this really weird aging process.
yeah. Well, I remember the first time I had it, it was good, but I wasn't hugely sold on it. And then I had it more recently, and I was like, "Holy shit!
Yeah.
This is a completely different beer."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very dynamic. Changes
Yeah.
a lot. I also make each batch a little differently every time.
Oh, of course, yeah.
On purpose to just like vary it some. Just a little different ingredients, a little different fermentation thing.
Oh, exactly. And I mean, you can take what you like best about something and tone with that, and if you don't like something, you can remove it.
Well, the
and play
nice
with
thing
it.
about a grit is like you almost don't expect it to be the same every time.
Yeah.
Like no, it's not with a pale ale and IPA where once you get hooked on an IPA, it's I want that same IPA every time.
Yeah,
With a
for sure.
grit, it's every time you buy it, it's a fun experiment.
Yeah, for sure. I guess we kind of touched on it, but do you think there's more room locally for more breweries?
Absolutely. I think we could support at least 2 more.
What about just the region in general? It's got to be
The
lots of
region,
room.
yes. I mean, we have a lot of. It's a nice little like, there's 20-minute drive times between towns around
Yeah.
here, so everybody could have a brewery.
I think so too. And I mean,
Sure.
it's nice because there's a lot of small towns in the Kootenays here, but a lot of them already have a brewery, whereas a lot of small towns elsewhere don't have
Yeah.
breweries.
Well, and the nice thing is, like, almost every small town in the West Kootenays has a campsite or a big hotel or like an old hotel,
Yeah.
like the Castle Hotel or the Hume Hotel. So it's like you can stay and you can enjoy all the other things that the town has to offer. And for us
Yeah.
weird geeks, there's a brewery there.
Well,
that
I
we can
mean,
hang out in.
Nelson's a weird town in general because there's a campsite in the
in the
city.
middle of the town.
So I mean, that's where we're staying. It's like you
Oh.
can just walk from the campsite, and
Yep.
it's really close.
Yeah.
In the middle of town.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of town.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's an apartment next door. Kind of weird. Yeah.
And some houses and a great view. It's
Yeah.
what the hell is going on here?
It is nice because I think the whole ale trail, like you guys mentioned,
Yeah.
like we're looking at like eco-tourism, beer tourism, like
Yeah.
it's nice because I think the Kootenays before the industry was really resource-based. Now there's just so much more tourism coming to these little small towns, right?
Which is
so I
perfect.
think breweries are a big part of that.
Nelson's always been a tourist destination, but being a beer tourist destination is
Yeah.
way better.
Not always. It was actually Nelson was a resource town, mill town, mining town.
Yeah, way
up
back.
until like the early '80s
Yeah.
when that changed, and then at that point the city made a shift towards tourism, and
Yeah.
that can apply to a lot of other places as well.
Well, I mean, industry in general is slowing down. It seems like everywhere you hear a mill is shutting down or this is shutting
Yeah.
down. And if you want to keep people in those towns, there's got to be something to draw them there.
Yeah.
And,
That's right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Tourism is probably the best draw, and why not make it alcohol?
Right.
Well, and brewing is also industry and manufacturing jobs.
It is, yes.
It's clean
Yeah.
manufacturing too. There's very few negative byproducts from brewing.
And most of the byproducts can be used to feed animals or whatever.
We use mash here to make our buns for our pulled pork sandwiches and our crackers for our charcuterie plate. Like,
Yeah.
brewing as a whole is such a, especially craft brewing recently has taken on such a great view on reusing everything. Don't let anything go to waste. Recapture your water, recapture your heat, recapture all this and that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. With our kitchen, actually, as we do food here now, that has become an interesting part, an interesting collaboration with the brewing side, because the chefs are now talking to the brewers and coming up with mutual ideas on the different things that we can do together.
Which
so
is
the
awesome,
ingredients.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun.
I guess you started as growlers only, didn't you? And then
Yeah.
you moved into bottles.
Hand bottling.
Oh, was it right away?
No.
No.
No, yeah.
It was hand bottling.
Yeah, hand bottling. Was your demand just exceeding your brewery capacity by the end of 2016, basically? Is that why we're here now, or?
Well, we actually originally almost used the tiny brewery as a proof of concept because this was the original vision, right?
Yeah.
But we needed to take that stepping stone to get here, and yeah, we we reached capacity. It was February 2016, I think, was when we had exceeded our capacity, and that was when the conversation went from, do we make more tanks in this space and become more efficient, or do we just take the big jump? And yeah, that's what the decision was. It was time to get big.
Yeah, it's very
Much
big
bigger.
jump. Yeah, no
Well,
shit.
we didn't think there was enough, too much of a reason to go into a middle step.
Yeah.
Because we predicted we'd probably just have to upgrade again after a few years. And with the capital investment in Korea, it's a big cost and all. It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
to do.
exactly. It's easier to get one loan or whatever than it is to keep getting them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So we went for it.
So can you tell us a little bit more, just for the listeners, I guess, what is going on with the new location? Like, where is it located, and what was the choice to move here specifically?
So the new location is at 125 Hall Street in Nelson. It's actually the location for the old Sears store here in Nelson, which moved to a different area now. And it's much larger than our old facility, 7,000 square feet in a nice building just off of downtown, right by the waterfront. So we're 2 blocks away from a marina and a hotel on the waterfront, 2 blocks away from the downtown core. And it's a large enough facility that would accept the brewing equipment, obviously, and to have our lounge space and shipping area.
Receiving,
Yeah.
That's
And
good.
have a parking lot too, so we can actually bring people in. So we have a 60-seat lounge with full kitchen, our store area, and then the brewery. We have a 20 hectoliter brew house from Ripley Stainless in Summerland with a bunch of fermentation tanks. We have a Martin Robotics bottling machine, which is an
Nice.
8-head machine that can convert to different bottle sizes. It's
That's
pretty cool.
awesome.
So
That's much
yeah.
better than hand bottling.
It's amazing. It's so fast that we actually can't keep up with it.
It's, what was it, 70 times faster?
Yeah, 70
Yeah.
times faster.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what's your fermentation capacity right now, currently? Do you know?
So it's 2 bar 6, 10,
100
12.
hex.
Yeah.
100
We have
X?
100 hectoliters of fermentation capacity.
Fermentation,
Plus
and then conditioning involved.
Yeah.
Would be another 40.
What was the old place?
the old place was 16 hectoliters of capacity. Our first year of production will fit in the new brewery at one time.
That's awesome. So I guess this is the grand opening, but you've been open for a little while now,
We
right?
did a very, very soft opening, especially with introducing the kitchen and
Yeah.
the lounge. We had to wait for licensing. So yeah, basically just to get money in the door, we kind of opened the store really quietly, started doing dollar fills again. We had backstocked a lot of beer from the old brewery, so it was sort of this really awkward transition phase.
Yeah.
And so the whole point of having an actual grand opening was it's our 3rd-year anniversary, and it was to announce that like we are now fully functional. We have cocktails, we have food, we have the brewery's fully operational. Bottles from this brewery are now for sale in Vancouver and Victoria. Like, you know, we're finally done with the awkward startup phase and we're in full swing now. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the first 6 weeks of being open, we're really ramping up all the different facets of
yeah,
the
like we
facility.
changed the menu like I think 4 times in the last 6 weeks because they would just add something else because
Yeah.
we finally get
Yeah.
something working properly and then you could add more, that kind of thing.
It's a pretty complicated facility here too, so we had to get all the kinks worked out and all the
Oh, for
systems
sure.
and
And even just the jump in like employees, right? We went from 3.5, 4 employees to 13 basically now. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
we had a big staffing jump, and then we brought other people in, so you have to collaborate with all these ideas and all that kind of stuff.
But how was the reception on that soft opening so far?
It was really good. Even the first day we were open, people were already heard about it. We're in the door. A lot of people were complaining that it took us that long to get open. And we had our doors closed for all of 4 weeks, and it was just an apocalypse for some people.
Yeah,
so,
a month. Holy
yeah.
crap.
What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
there were some angry, thirsty people.
No, I'm sure there was.
They were very happy when we finally opened the door so they could get beer again.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's talk about the beer again. Like, what's your core lineup of beers then? Do you have a core really?
We have
Or-
a few
Or
core.
are you planning on a core now that you're into a bigger facility?
We're still kind of working on that. On
Yeah.
the one hand, efficiency-wise, and consistency to consumer-wise, it is nice to have a few brands, beers that are out there all the time that people will enjoy.
Yeah.
However, it's more fun
Oh, I agree.
to have for us, and I think for a lot of
For
beer
us,
drinks,
too, yeah.
Because Mike, you probably like the new beer that's out there.
Oh yeah, I mean
Right?
the beer geek is like that, but the problem
Yes.
is that you got to go to both groups.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
So, I mean, if we were going to call it a core beer, we have 4 beers that we generally try and have at all times. That's
Yeah.
Blondes and Stereo or Blonde Ale, Broadside IPA, Lead Sled Porters, the traditional English porter, and then our Warp 8.5, which is a Cascadian Dark Ale.
Yeah,
8.5%, 100 IBU. It's sort of
that's a
the
really
butt
tasty
kicking
beer.
beer.
Yeah,
So we try and keep those at all times. We fight to keep them on in bottle or on draft, kind of at all times.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but other than that, I mean, it's 48 other beers that rotate at maximum possible velocity.
And new beers all the time.
And new beers all the time.
yeah, for sure.
We're going to have beers that are going to be around often, maybe not all the time, but frequently. We'll have some beers that are once a year beers that will come out for a certain season.
Yeah,
And then we'll have some beers that are one-offs that we'll never do again just because we like to play around.
that makes sense. And then if someone really likes it, you might have to keep making it, right?
Or you
That's
make
right.
it once every 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
What's the how many taps do you guys have out there? Because it looked like a big row.
So right now we have
there.
20. We have room for 8 more. 2
Wow.
of them are nitro taps. We also do sodas. So actually a couple of them are sodas right now for a cocktail menu, which we're also planning on bottling in the near future. We're going to switch to 6-packs of some more famous sodas.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, right now it's actually just playing a game of trying to produce enough different beers that we can actually fill up the taps before the first one runs out again, and then you're all of a sudden back to square one.
Yeah.
It's tricky because one beer ran out before we even had a chance to read
Yeah, our
it
blonde
again.
ale ran out in literally days.
Yeah.
Like, it was
Well,
nuts.
it's getting hotter now, right? So the
Yeah,
blonde ale in the
exactly.
sell a ton.
Yeah, so we're gonna start double batching that one because it's the right season for that one.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
It's stupid hot today.
It is
stupid
It's
hot.
stupid hot. There isn't a cloud in the sky
Yeah.
all day.
Well, it's like 30 degrees.
Yeah.
And for us, that's stupid hot. Especially from Vancouver. Do you have one beer that's like the most fun to brew?
Most fun to brew.
Noctis is pretty fun to brew.
It is. It's an
It's a
interesting
weird process. It takes 2 days.
Okay.
And,
And
you
there's-
get to taste it out of all things from the kettle, which nobody gets to because that's where it sours. So
Yeah.
you can actually go to the kettle and like take samples and taste it. So yeah, it's probably the most fun.
You can smell it change,
Yeah, which is also interesting.
and the color changes too because of the cold infused grain process that we use as well.
Oh, interesting.
You can't. It's a light color before it's a dark color.
So that was probably the most fun to brew, I think. For sure.
Oh wait, no, broken paddle.
Oh yes, we do a fresh hopped Imperial IPA
Oh, that'd
during
be
the fresh
good.
hop season. It's called Broken Paddle, and it's called that because when we were making it the first time, I actually broke the paddle that we stirred the mash with. It snapped in half, so we had to spend the rest of the brew day with half a paddle to stir this giant mash tun.
Was it an oak paddle? Or was it oak
It was
age?
our original our original brew house. We used canoe paddles to stir the mash with. So now the 2 broken mash paddles from the original brewery are mounted on a plaque. That's the broken paddle plaque in the lounge area.
That's awesome.
But that's fun because we use a ridiculous amount of fresh hops.
So the old brewery would literally, when the kettle boiled, the fresh hops would try and come out of the top of the kettle, and somebody actually had to stand there and hold the lid down so they would stay inside.
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It
Where
was
do you
more
source
hop.
those hops?
Well, we've got
Chillwack
Chillwack
hops.
hops.
Okay, yeah. It's,
They're really good about fresh hops. They send them all refrigerated
Yeah.
and like make sure they get right to your door.
a lot of the hops are coming out of Chilliwack and
They're
Saints
great.
in general, or
Yeah.
sort of that Cultus Lake, Chilliwack area.
Yeah, it's a good hop growing region.
Yeah, it sure is.
The aroma when the boxes show up, and this year is going to be hilarious. Because last year we got what seemed like an insane amount of hops for this beer.
Yeah.
Well, this year is going to be
And
at least
actually
5
it's
times as many.
Yeah.
So it's going
Actually,
to be
insane amount of hops.
pallets of fresh hops. So yeah, the aroma is phenomenal.
Oh, I bet it
We
is.
actually had to
Yeah.
devise a whole new way to make the beer this year because you can't fit that many fresh hops in a kettle with the beer.
We
So,
can't get them out of the kettle. It's the other
Yeah.
problem. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
it's
So maybe it's the most fun and least fun.
It's the most adventurous. The
Yeah.
least fun's one of the ones that you like. The process seems like it should just work normally, and then no matter what, they seem to have a curse upon them.
Yeah.
And they just try and screw you every time. And you're just like, why doesn't this work? It should work the same as any other beer, but it seems to not.
Broadside and Warp are both temperamental.
We have they're cursed beers. Like, every time you go to make them, they do something different.
Yeah.
Or something doesn't work in the middle of the brew process, and you're like, why? Why are you betraying me right now?
Oh, jeez.
Although the new brew house, it should be different. Yeah, hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
That's right.
Here's hoping.
Yeah, exactly.
So aside from the beers that you guys are making in-house, is there any beers that you guys don't make that you really enjoy drinking out of the BC beer scene?
Oh, like our favorite?
Yeah.
Favorite beer made
Wow.
elsewhere.
Favorite's tough.
Favorite stuff.
There's a lot
Yeah,
of
oh
beers
no,
I like that.
it's hard for me too. It's just a great question to ask.
The most recent one I can like rave about is Ode to Wallflower from Powell Street.
That was a neat one, yeah.
They aged their Ode to Citra Pale Ale in Wallflower gin barrels. That was unreal. I had it just a week ago and it was unbelievable. And then I really love the 20 pounder from Driftwood.
Yeah, that's always a
That's
good
a
one.
great one.
I haven't had either of those yet.
Get on that,
behind
man.
me.
This is totally unfair.
And we're big fans of. Powell Street's one of our all-time favorite breweries. I don't think I've ever had a beer I didn't absolutely love from them.
Yeah.
Four Winds, obviously. Those guys make amazing beer. Driftwood's another one. Always love their beers.
We're fortunate in BC to have so many choices right now where I'm trying to think of some favorites and I'm struggling because there's
It's
so
difficult.
many.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. I can
Yeah.
barely answer that question. It's
Yeah.
just a great one to ask because sometimes you get lots of answers. Sometimes it's like, I don't even know.
Yeah. Yeah, we did like
Right.
a podcast with the bloggers last week, and I don't think did anybody have one that was just like a specific beer?
I don't think so.
We couldn't even decide on a style or a brewery.
Yeah, well, this is with the style. Like, I'm very situational with styles of beer. Like, you know, in the winter, I'd rather drink a stout. In the summer, I'd rather drink like everybody. But like, when we do like gaming nights and stuff, like I prefer an ISA because you get a little bit of hot bite. It's the low alcohol. You can still drive home. Like, so it's very situational drinking for me. And the Red Razor ISA is such a classic.
Yeah.
It's such an easy choice to make. Just when you go to the beer store, it's you know what, I'm in a rush. There it is.
Yeah, for sure. I guess there's a bunch of new breweries opening up kind of in this area of the Kootenays right now, it seems like.
Yes.
What's the beer scene like? Because, I mean, I'm from Vancouver, Chelsea's from the Okanagan. We see it from a distance, and we're pretty plugged in, but still.
It's hard to say because it's really changing. It's changing so fast.
We're right in the middle of the flux.
Yeah.
And a lot of the beer stores here that didn't offer craft beers, or especially like unique or different craft beers, like, because same thing I was just saying about Red Racer, as much as I love their ISA, they're one of the most, they're in every beer store because they have a giant canning operation and they can just produce that much beer, right? Which is great because then you can get it anywhere you go, but at the same time, you know, a lot of these stores just kind of carried either the classic macro brews and then maybe Phillips, Red Racer, sort of the big craft brewers.
Yeah.
But now that we're finally seeing, especially in this town, like people are starting to carry weird, unique bomber bottles from other breweries. That's like finally you can go off the street and be like, "What is this? I've never heard of this."
Yeah,
Oh, exactly.
It took a while because I'm in Summerland, right? So super small town, right? So it took a long time to get good beers. But now I'm like, Mike's like, "Do you want me to bring you some beers from Vancouver?" I'm like, "It's okay. I've got some beers
I
from
got some
Italy.
stuff, yeah.
I'm good. Yeah."
Oh, Summerland and Penticton's finally turned into a real beer destination.
Yeah.
It has, yeah.
There's what, 6 or 7 now?
I think there's 4 or 5 in Penticton if you count Barley Mill, right? And then Summerland has its own. Have you guys heard about Detonate? We have
Yeah,
a craft,
Detonate, yeah.
We have a craft brewery. And
He
it's 10
came
minutes
here
from
to
my
buy
house.
tanks from NBC and
Oh,
he
yeah.
stopped in and talked to
Yeah.
us. And,
So yeah, we finally have a brewery. We're really excited about that.
Yeah, it's
So.
excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, the beer scene in Nelson in particular is growing substantially. There's a lot of diehard serious beer people that we've just met, a lot of them as we were in the old location Torchlight, and now the new place. There's more and more people. There's a lot of new faces, so more people are coming into that scene. And we have a pretty good beer scene here. There's some good pubs around, some good breweries.
It's really
And it's gonna
easy
grow.
to pair good food with beer here too.
Yeah.
One thing we've really seen in Nelson is a friend of ours, right after we opened in the old location, he started a homebrew club, and it's exploded. Like there's, I was just talking the other day, there's upwards of like 55 members now. They all homebrew in Nelson or in the immediate area.
Yeah.
They meet once a month. They all bring their homebrew. Like a lot of us pro brewers who still homebrew go down there and we bring our beers, and everybody still meets up. And it's really like, you know, you can feel like the passion in the area.
That's really awesome to
It's
hear.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's turned into not just like beer home brewing, It's sort of a fermented beverage appreciation.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's everywhere. Yeah,
It
it's
immediately
like, what else
turns
can I
to
make?
ciders and
Yeah.
anything else you can
Strange
a lot of
mead stuff all
meads.
the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Let's make
Wine.
alcohol.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, let's just get ourselves fermented here.
Yeah. Super cool.
Exactly.
I guess you kind of touched on it, but how do you see the beer scene here evolving in the next couple of years? Are there any trends or styles that might kind of grow to this area, or
So the Kootenays in specific.
yeah,
I
or
think
BC in general? But
BC in general, I mean, we see these weird phases. There was hoppy beers for a while. There's sour beers right now. It's kind of blowing up. The Kootenays, we see a lot of appreciation for easy drinking. I know, like NBC has been here forever. It's finally released their first session beer, and people are taking off with that. That's what people want here. They want a 6-pack camping.
yeah,
You know.
well, I mean, this is an outdoor destination out here, right?
Well, and that's just it. It's like, especially in the summer, people are going boating, hiking, camping, fishing, right? They just want to take that, and so they're finally shying away from Coors Light and these Canadian and Budweiser and all these macro brews that have been around forever.
Yeah.
They're seeking out really easy drinking beers and breweries, which we've already seen, like our Blondes Ontario, Lawndale running out in days
Yeah.
because as soon as it's available, people are just obsessing over it.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see beer style wise here a couple different things. I don't know what they are yet, but we'll see some slightly unconventional, easy drinking beer styles start to develop. Because the classic ones have been quite enjoyed, but something new will be coming soon on the horizon.
And on the other side too, is one of our most popular beers has been our Belgian Double, which I never expected the first time we made it.
Yeah.
We actually made it as an afterthought to our triple, because we had the yeast, and we were like, well, I made a triple, let's make a double as well, because the triple was a Christmas release in bottles, wax tip bottles, like we made it really special, and then the
Yeah.
double, we were like, well, let's just put something for growler fills, and it exploded. Like, when it's not around, it's all we hear about is complaints. Where's the double? Where's the double?
Yeah.
Where's the double coming back? It's like, okay, not really expected, but glad to see, because I love the double. Great style of beer.
No, exactly, and that's one of those things, right? You do something as afterthought, and it blows up, and it's like, well, shit, I guess we got something we got to bring back again.
The Double's more popular than the Triple. It's in the tank right now, though. So
I understand that personally, because for me, I like duals and I like quads. Triples are hit and miss. I find them super sweet.
Yes.
I'm
Triple's
not-
a hard style to
Yeah,
do.
it is really hard style. Where
You can oversweet them, you can overbitter them, you can overdry them. Like,
Exactly.
It's a very particular sort of perfect zone that they're in.
yeah,
your real risk is over dryness, actually. So
Yeah.
I think that's where you get the sweet beers, is trying to not make it too dry.
for sure. Yeah,
The other thing I think we'll see happen in the Kootenays, West Kootenays in general, is the expansion of more beer culture and more craft beer adoption outside of like the Nelson area.
Yeah.
A lot of the other towns.
Caslow, and
Caslow.
once Castlegar, and everybody gets on
Yeah.
board with the growlers. Like, you'll be able to go anywhere in the West Kootenays, fill a growler, see people walking around with growlers.
yeah, for sure.
That's an easy thing to see in Nelson now, but I know Caslow's going to open a brewery soon, so that's one of the things I hope. Like, even places like Newcastle can open a brew pub.
Oh, I bet
Yeah.
they could. Yeah,
Right?
Actually,
With
you know the
growlers.
town that needs a good brewery? Creston.
Preston does.
yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
They need a
do.
good brewery.
Maybe they need a Yeti as a symbol. You know, a little play on something.
Not a Sasquatch.
No, exactly. A Yeti.
Cannot be a Sasquatch.
No,
Yeah, it's gotta be
Definitely
white.
much different. Yeah. What about any sort of beer-focused events that are happening in the Kootenays? Like, if I was going to come to the Okanagan, Mike was going to come out, is there something you say, like, you have to come here for?
So we just had our first real kind of festival in Nelson. The Hume Hotel put on Grapes and Grains.
Nice.
So wine, liquor, and beer festival. It was unbelievable. So well organized, super classy. Everybody was dressed up. It was 3 floors in the hotel. And there was everything you can imagine there. And it was a huge success. And it's like, that was immediately one of the things that I noticed about how well organized. Because we've been to some beer festivals where you just kind of look around and you're like, who is in charge of this?
Oh yeah, no ice, run out of beer, all
Or
kinds of stuff.
Just
yeah.
like weird spaces, or like who got invited, and that. Some things are. It's pretty easy to mess up a beer festival.
Oh god, yeah.
Right. So yeah, that was one of the most recent things that's happened, and I'm trying to think of other events we have out here. Castlegar has a beer festival every year now that's slowly picking up steam. This will be
Nice.
their 4th year. coming up here.
Okay.
So
And we've been in talks about doing another local beer event.
we're doing outdoor.
Yeah.
Nelson's
Oh,
so
yeah.
great about outdoor stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Outdoor events are by far the best events. They just are.
And then July and August, we have some of the best weather in all BC. So
Mhm.
really, so hopefully something like that is coming down the pipe.
Nice.
That'd be awesome. You're getting enough breweries now locally to
That we can actually make
you
it
can
happen.
do it, right?
Yeah.
And then you can invite other breweries too. But
Yeah.
you got enough mass here.
Well, I mean, one of those ones where you can get everybody in Nelson, and then you get like especially when Castle's open, Trail, Roslyn, like
Yeah,
some
the local.
Kootenay breweries that we could actually put
Yeah, for
together.
sure.
Might use Kootenays, get Arrowhead, Fernie, and all those guys down here. And,
Yeah.
not like me.
I guess, does the brewery have any exciting projects or events on the horizon? Other than your grand opening today?
Yes. I'm trying to think of the next big thing we're gonna.
We're still working on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
There's
there's
a
kind
couple things we want to do. We're looking at doing something with.
We're gonna start barrel aging things.
Yes.
Nice.
That's a wonderful thing to hear.
It is.
I can think of one of your beers that might go well in a barrel.
Shocking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're excited to do a barrel program. I still haven't figured out where to put the barrels yet.
No.
I have some ideas. We'll see. No shortage of things to put in the barrels, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
We're going to be working on 355 ml bottles as well for some
Oh,
of our
nice.
beers.
Yes, we're gonna start releasing
Yeah.
6-packs,
Six-packs.
small bottles.
Nice.
Still not sure which beers are going in them yet. The blondes, the stereo.
Yeah, I was gonna say the blonde,
The blonde's
probably.
the
Yeah.
classic choice,
Yeah.
and then we haven't decided from
And
there.
it-
But
It's so much easier to capture the Molson crowd or whatever with the 6-pack bottles.
yeah,
Especially if a blonde or something, they go,
Yeah.
"What is this?" Because they're just so used to that style. They're used to 6 cans, 6
well, a
bottles.
bomber bottle terrifies them.
It's a strange format.
It is.
Why
Well,
is-
that's why growlers are so strange for a lot of people that haven't seen them before. Because what is this?
When we first opened in 2014,
Oh yeah.
no one had done growlers, in this part of the interior at all.
Yeah.
So unless we had people from the coast or from, back in
I
Halifax or
think the
whatever.
closest one was Cannery, who was doing growlers to us.
Yes, Canterbury was the closest.
Wow.
In Huntington.
Yeah,
'Cause we had a Cannery growler. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Craig had one. But
Yeah.
other than that, there
No
was-
one had seen growler unless they were from Vancouver or wherever else. So we had to explain it to everyone.
Everyone
And
who walked by the door came in and they were like, "Well, where's your 6-packs? Or where's your cans?" And it's like, no, here's a jug.
Yes.
You fill it up and then you come back later and we put more beer in it.
So now we're returning them to the bottle depot to try and get the
They do that in Vancouver too. Don't worry.
The other thing was I was living in Halifax for 4 years, and Propeller Brewing there has been doing growlers since 1987. Everybody there drinks growlers.
Yeah.
It was not a new thing there. And when I moved there, I remember seeing somebody walking down the street. I'm like, "What the hell is that?" And first time I was like, "Oh, it's a growler. Everybody gets beer out here." And I was like, "What? What is this thing?" And I ended up living 3 blocks down the street from Propeller. It was like,
That's not a bad
well,
place
that's
to live.
easy.
They make some really good beer.
Yeah.
Shockingly, my favorite beer from them, and ended up being their pumpkin beer.
Okay.
Pumpkin beer is one of those things that's so easy to mess up,
Oh yeah.
and they make a really killer pumpkin beer.
Nice. I haven't had that one yet. I drank a ton of pumpkin beers, so I got really into them.
Well, they got
Like
huge,
1 year,
like
and then
2
I just
years
got
ago.
sick of them because I drank so many in 1 year. It was
Like
just
2 years
oh.
ago, they were nuts. Everybody
Yeah.
did a pumpkin beer, and then they just sort of disappeared again. It was such an easy beer to mess up, and
Yeah, exactly.
Propeller did a killer pumpkin ale.
I guess, is there anything else you want to let listeners know about the brewery here?
Well, we have beer that's going to be spreading around the province.
Yeah,
So-
we're finally available province-wide, so we're going to be going up to Prince George and Vancouver, Victoria, Nanaimo, finally all over the place.
pretty much.
Yeah.
And we'll be releasing new beers all year.
Yeah.
Periodically as we get our full
Especially
bottle lineup out.
seasonals, we're going to do
Yeah.
3 for Christmas and all that kind of stuff. So.
So watch for our
Watch for the
bottles
torch.
coming up.
You'll finally see it
Yeah.
in
It's
local
awesome.
stores.
Because, yeah, I don't drive to Nelson every week, so it's,
Yeah.
it's
Made
nice
an
to be able to
adventure
buy
out
it
of
at home.
Yeah. And look for the wax tip bottles because that's where the really cool shit goes.
Yeah, I agree, totally. I guess, how can people find your brewery online?
Torchlightbrewing.com. We also Instagram and Facebook and Twitter.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you guys.
Cheers. Let's drink some more beer.
Yep.
3 out of 4 of these glasses are empty.
Oh, shit.
This is a shame.
We hope you've enjoyed this interview with the guys from Torchlight Brewing. and we hope that we've inspired you to head out to Nelson and check out the breweries there. And if you can't make it there, at least pick up some of their bottles in your local shop when you find them soon. Cheers. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Pacific Beer Chat or at pacificbeerchat.com. If you've enjoyed the episode, you can give us a review on iTunes. It'll help us get some more recognition. You can also find us on Google Play Music, Stitcher, and YouTube. If you'd like to, you can also give us some feedback at pacificbeerchat.com. Cheers.